Okay. All right. Hey guys. Well, I'm about to cover a subject that makes me very, very uncomfortable and stretches me past my comfort zone in every way, shape, and form. And yeah, it's quite intimidating for me to do this, but as I try to be an example for everyone who follows my channel, I am just willing. I'm willing to explore this subject, and I know very little about it. I've watched 2 videos total on the subject, the same ones that I've shared with you guys on my Telegram, and my channel is Amy Satori. So yeah, I'm willing to use my abilities to share with you guys what I get. So I'm not saying that I'm any kind of I don't know. I know as little as you guys, and but I just have the ability to tap into things. So I'm not going to be able to, give you the full picture necessarily, but I'll be able to give you some hints and clues and some puzzle pieces perhaps to help you put this all together. Is sometimes we'll watch a video for like 2 or 3 hours and we'll get one little tiny nugget out of it, or maybe 2 or something like that, that kind of sticks with us. It's like, I think that's why I watched it, is because of that little nugget, and if we're all doing that, and there are thousands of us watching this, and then we go out and we gather knowledge and we go look at other videos and we start digging into some of this, if you're led to, then perhaps that little nugget that you got from me today is going to shed some light on, kind of bridge a gap for you. So I'm not going to proclaim to have any answers. I'm just going to tell you guys what I feel. That's all. I'm just going to tell you guys any images that I get, or anything I get intuitively about it. And again, not claiming to have all the answers by any means at all. I'm just willing to use my abilities to help you guys sort through the same stuff we got to figure out together here. So, and there's, I'm going to dedicate today's update, Great Awakening update, to Jordan Maxwell, a dear friend of mine. I was going to try not to cry. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not going to be able to do it without crying. So what the hell? I'm just going to let myself cry. So whatever. Somebody commented under my video yesterday that he had died, and I didn't know. I'd been thinking about him a lot lately, and I've left him messages and he hasn't called back, and usually he does. So I knew something had happened, but so thank you for telling me, whoever wrote that. Thank you. And I don't know anything about how he died or anything, but I love that man. And I hung out with him a lot when he was a producer at Gaia. I'd go to his place and hang out for hours often, and we would have these really amazing talks. And I would take him to go grocery shopping after we would talk. He was 78. He was 78 at that time, so he knew his time was coming to a close. And just I love telling the story of how we met. It was so cute. I was a a reader at the Lighthouse bookstore in Boulder, and he came in and he was just he's the big guy, you know. He comes in and he does a reading, and we ended up getting along so great that man, we just loved talking. And I think 2 hours went by, and I only charged him for like 30 minutes, 30 minutes or something like that. I mean, he was like, I'll pay more. And I was like, no, I've enjoyed this too much. And it would have spent too much time. So and basically we get to the end of our forever long reading. I mean, he was the last reading of the day, thank God. And we get to the end, and I said to him, because he seemed so open-minded and like he knew so much even about like aliens and all kinds of things. And so I said to him, I said, have you ever run across like elves, fairies, leprechauns, unicorns, anything like that? And he just kind of, no, I can't say I have, you know. And then I was kind of like, okay. And then he's such a smart guy. He's so smart. He leans forward and he goes, why do you ask? You know? And I said, well, this is going to sound really funny, but my unicorn walked me to work today. And I said, and usually he doesn't do that. He just was walking like down the sidewalk with me. He's like this huge white horse walking beside me. And I was just wondering what special thing might happen today, or, you know, there must be significance to him walking me to work today, because he's never done that. And so he thinks about it for a minute, and he's like, what's your unicorn's name? And I said, Tristan. And he says, and I said, what? He goes, oh my God. And I said, what? And he said, the reason that I came down here today to get a reading was for the sole purpose of finding out if my assistant was trustworthy and whether I had chosen the right assistant to help me at Gaia. And he said, her name is Tristan. So Spirit knew that I would end up talking about that because it stood out so much. So I always just thought that was such a mark of his intelligence. Like, he didn't, instead of like making fun of me or being like, okay, cuckoo lady or whatever, he was like, let me dig here. Let me find out what she has for me, because there's got to be a nugget in this. That's the mark of a really smart person. So anyway, thank you, Jordan. And he and I had a talk in spirit yesterday. And, that he said that he had become a part of some of these societies, he didn't tell me the half of it, man. Like, he didn't tell me. He protected me from a lot. Now, looking back at all that I know now, I was so, oh man, I was not, I thought I was awake. And thank God he opened my mind back then to some of it. I really encourage you guys to go back and watch or just look up here on YouTube, Amy Satori, Jordan Maxwell. Put those words in a search and like 3 videos will come up. And it was the 3 podcasts that I did with him. They're very awe-inspiring, and especially at these times, a lot of you guys know all this stuff now, or know some of this stuff, and it's starting to come together. The pieces are coming together, making sense. You're going to be mind blown. I mean, back then I was just like, man, these rantings of this old man, he's saying a lot of really interesting stuff, but I have no idea what he's talking about. I really didn't. But yeah, he said that he did become a part of these societies so that he could pretty much infiltrate and spy. So that man, he is a really, really good guy, and he says it straight up, just like me. So I loved that about him. And he was careful, he was smart, he was wise in what he said, but yeah. Just a sweet man. So, well, Now he's with me, and now he's going to be one of my guides, and he's going to help me to continue. I don't have half the knowledge he did in 60 some years, but of his studying, but he's helping me figure some stuff out, and he's going to be here to help with this talk today because I don't have a clue. I'm just going to feel into it. But he did mention one time in one of the talk about religion that he and I did, he said that there was a scripture, and I looked it up, and it was it's Hosea 4:6 and Isaiah 5:13. The scripture says, "My people are dying from a lack of knowledge." I think that says it all. It even speaks to today. People don't realize what's going on. They have no clue, and they're not even interested in looking. They just want to live their lives. They just want to keep going like they've been going. And it's sad, because that could have been to their demise. And I say could have been because I do believe we're on a good timeline here. So, all right. When it really comes down to it, what Jordan said, and I'm going to give you guys some websites right now to do your own research. You can look back at 60 years worth of his work. If you go to jordanmaxwellshow.com, jordanmaxwellshow.com, or jordanmaxwellresearch.is. If you go to the first website that I mentioned and you hit join, you'll go to this website anyway. So in case I have it wrong, but jordanmaxwellresearch.is. So I highly, highly recommend listening to the talks that he and I did. There are 3 of them that I remember, or that I found on YouTube before I came on here. And then there's those 2 websites. And if you start diving into some of that stuff, you're going to get mind blown. So he basically said everything always comes down to sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And of course, I was like, what the hell are you even talking about? Like, but he explained it, he went into detail in that religion video. You can check it out for yourself if you're interested in finding more about that. It's basically everything comes down to Tantra, sacred sex. So, and I was thinking today too, like it all also comes down to, so what do they consider us when we figured out what we are? What do they do? What's this whole thing with the birth certificates where they take our soul by taking the footprints, and then they take our blood through our placenta when we give birth. So, and then they consider us vessels of water. And then I know that there are some ceremonies that the Lucy's perform where they basically take all of our liquids, a woman's liquids, a pregnant woman's liquids, and they are bathing in them. So we're talking mucus, tears, every type of water that can exit your body or that is in your body. It goes into this bath and they bathe in it as some kind of a ritual. So it has significance, right? It's sacred to them. So there's something to that. And water also is a way that we can fortune tell. It is a way that crystals are water that is solidified. And time travel has to do with this as well. Time travel has to do with crystals and water somehow. Because we tapped into like the water. I was seeing that the water looked like there were all these portals in it and stuff like that. This stuff goes beyond our comprehension, some of this. And even when I was just feeling into it in the bathroom before coming in here, I was like, this feels like there's an element of everything exists all at the same time right now anyway. Like time doesn't really exist in a linear way like we think it does. So that's a trick too. When trying to figure out the time of everything, it's hard because I was getting past lives that were coming up too. Like past lives are also contributing to this thing that I'm going to be talking about. So crazy. And then I've been hearing a blue jay. I woke up this morning and there was a blue jay right outside my window, really loud, yelling. And I don't have a bush out there and I don't have a tree out there outside that window. So must have been like on the grass right outside the window, making a point of, making it sound. So blue jays are all about mimicking and bullying, and then I've also been getting, the point that I've been feeling lately too, all the little tidbits and nuggets I've been getting myself, is 2 by 2. Noah's Ark goes in, it has 2 of everything. And somebody said in a recent video, there's 2 of everything that exists on the earth, right? And then even listening to Jordan Maxwell's talk on religion this morning, he talked about how there were 2 testicles. There were not 10 commandments. There were 2 balls, and they represented like the testicles. And even when you're I don't even want to go down that road. Listen to that talk. So, but I think it all has to do with and is related to what we're going to talk about today somehow. And everything is cryptic and symbolic. So I know that, okay, there's a lot in that talk, you guys. There's really a lot in that talk to reflect on. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. Oh yeah, everything is about money, making money in water, making money in water, and we also know the party drug that starts with a capital A. So everything that we're about, the reason that we're even allowed to exist right now, is because we're bringing in money. I just heard generating power. We're power generators. I mean, this is like feeling like the Matrix. And we, we're carrying water for them, but we're considered like just vessels that, can be thrown away. Like, having said all of that, I'm going to read you, hang on a second. I'm going to change the lighting if I can. Hang on. Okay. That didn't help, but that's okay. Whatever. So let's just put some hints and clues together and we'll probably figure it out. It's 11:11 and on my phone. Okay. All right. So we're going to look at the galactic heritage cards and see what this has to say about Tartaria. Okay. Tartaria is the subject of today. So Spirit, can you give us a hint or clue as to what Tartaria is all about? What is Tartaria all about, please? Can you tell us some hints and clues about our history with Tartaria, or what we call Tartaria? Lyra, present, pushing the envelope. Yeah, I really wanted to concentrate today, so I'm not showing the cards and doing all that nonsense because it's too distracting. All right, so Lyra, and I have an angel here. Okay, they're just showing their support. They didn't want to say anything. Okay, thank you. All right, so this theme refers to the human and Lyran tendency to become single-minded and sometimes ego-driven, pushing ourselves beyond our limits in order to accomplish a goal. While this can at times be an admirable quality, it can also severely hamper our evolution and keep us stuck in actions driven by ego. When we are stuck in these ego-driven tendencies, it becomes impossible to connect with our higher nature and evolve beyond the limitations of ego. On the other hand, this card may be giving you a message to push yourself harder when you are afraid, thus acting as encouragement for you. Do you tend to give up your goals too easily? If so, this card may be encouraging you to focus, trust, and keep going. It may also be giving you a message that you can learn and grow quite a bit by going beyond your perceived limitations. How interesting. Only by looking at the surrounding cards can you discern the meaning of the enigmatic card and apply it to your life. This was a major lesson for the Lyrans during this phase of their development, when to push harder and when to let go. Ultimately, when faced with species evolution, it is a delicate balance. Eventually, however, consciousness transcendence happens at the point of surrender. This is a lesson Earth humans are currently facing on the personal and planetary levels. So I guess we have to pick another card. Cosmic Midwifery, number 8, Arcturus. So pushing the envelope, which I just said I was doing on this video. That's funny. And then Cosmic Midwifery. As stated above, the Arcturus energy has a profound and all-pervasive relationship with human reality. One of the services it provides has to do with the two most sacred life transitions, birth and death. The Arcturus energy, which energetically resonates as the energy of our higher selves or our integrated essence, serves as a midwife for us when we are born and when we pass from this physical world. You could say that the white light seen in near-death experiences and during birth, if we could remember, is the energy of Arcturus, or our pure essence. This doesn't mean the star Arcturus is something to do with extraterrestrials. This is a pure archetypal resonance that is equated with the star Arcturus in the cosmology given by Germain. This energy can be felt by focusing on the star Arcturus in meditation. So maybe we could try that sometime, like maybe do a Divine Guidance Council meeting focusing on that. It may mean that you have a right to usher others through the birth or death experience. It could also mean that you are going through a metaphorical birth or death experience and could benefit by invoking the Arcturus consciousness to assist you. Pushing the envelope due to possibly the ego, and then life or death, like the death card. Pushing the envelope, trying to force something, maybe ending in death. So that might answer something for us in a minute here. All right. Think about coming to Earth and being given everything you need for free: food, water, housing, land, etc. This is what people believe Tartaria was: an advanced civilization, a world where all were provided for and there was harmony. Tartaria covered China, India, Russia, Europe, and part of the US, according to old maps. It seems that the architecture spread across the whole world, though. The architecture includes churches that have sacred geometry in the windows, and it said the church organs were even actually frequency that was healing when played. Churches were designed with sacred geometry at their core. Greco-Romano architecture is what we are told the existing buildings are. This is being found to not be the case. It actually looks like these buildings were created to power everything around them by drawing energy from the ether. A lot of them, if not all, were surrounded by water, and food was grown around them. Some places were built inside what are called star forts, which are sacred geometry, inside which food grew faster and better. At some point, there was mass destruction, which was either in the form of mud floods or some kind of seismic activity, a liquefaction of some kind where buildings were buried, and those that survived had sometimes up to 3 floors buried and have been excavated and found to still have glass in place in the windows. There are lots of photos about these times, and in those photos, there are hardly any people and no children. How and when it all changed, we are not certain, but it looks like it happened around the 1800s. Well, what has also been found is dates have been changed. What looks like 1,000 years, the old dates used to use a J or an I in front of them. That these were changed to a 1, and so doing added the 1,000 years. In the early 1800s, which could have been 800s instead of 1800s, is what she's saying, there were world fairs around the world displaying all this tech that already existed in Tartarian times. A lot of the buildings were destroyed after. They say they were temporary, but these fairs were like a city with canals and moving sidewalks and electric vehicles and lit up with free energy. Those that saw it always remembered how bright it was. Everyone only had lanterns, etc. back then. So this was crazy, right? So they saw electricity. They saw all these different things that we have now, electric cars. We just had those come out, so we thought, but they existed back a long, long, long time ago, guys. So what we'd like to know is, so before we even get into these questions, I just want to look at some world truth cards. Okay. All right. Can you tell us what do you want to tell us? Whoa, that just flew out. What do you want to tell us about Tartaria, please, God? What do you want to tell us about Tartaria? Jordan, you be here with us too, please. Thank you. He said, of course. All right. Did you know about Tartaria? Yeah, he did, of course. He knows everything, that guy. He goes, this is all just the tip of the iceberg. You guys have no idea. All right. He says he's very interested to see what these cards will say. I remember you, my friend. He and I would have so much fun. Oh, huh. This was or is being prevented or intercepted. So something was stopped. Yeah, something was stopped pretty abruptly too. Okay, so let me just turn all the cards over. Here. Okay, all right. Someone's lying. Maybe someone was lying, playing both sides, trying to people please, and doing so for their own benefit with no regard to the people. Okay. The situation involved an unintentional mistake or misunderstanding. It was not done on purpose. Huh. The person is involved is innocent. There will be unexpected, shocking news to be revealed soon about this. It's to awaken the population and make them aware of important issues that need our attention. That's for sure. There were many different opinions and weigh-ins on this matter that have been holding it off, but things are getting unstuck. There's an element to this that's completely fake or false. Oh, I feel like that's what the story that they tell about it is, a total lie, and I just got a yes. So yeah, we've been told a total lie about our history. Total lie. Any financial concerns? Okay, so this feels like this is within the next few months, we're going to get a lot more information about this situation that's going to come out when we're ready to, when we've had some other truths come out first that kind of lay the foundation. They got to get people to see how fake this world is. It's not just the politicians that are fake. You know, it's not just some of the news stories that are fake, like people think. It's our whole history. It's everything that we base our world on, everything we eat, drink, breathe, the sun, the planets, all of it is not true. I mean, all of it is like, there's elements of dishonesty in all of it. It's all hidden very, very well. They did a phenomenal job, I have to say, of tricking everybody to believing all of this, to our detriment. Believing that the song and dance they gave us, and some of it we're just going to be like, wow, I can't believe I got duped that hard. I mean, I'm already, and I don't even know the half of it. Whatever you've been wishing, hoping, or praying for, it's on its way. Worrying will slow you down. Your prayers are being answered, so have faith. I feel like this utopia type thing is going to be coming back. And then any financial concerns you have, fear not. We're coming into a very prosperous future. Okay, so, all right. So basically our history is not true. Someone maybe back then was playing both sides, and there was some kind of a mistake or misunderstanding that caused it all to end or stop. And maybe something got like, wow, that's crazy. Like I get misunderstanding that could have been, wow, it's almost like, hang on, was a catastrophe somehow averted in this event? An eventual catastrophe was averted somehow in this. Down the line, though, down the line, like something would have happened if this hadn't have happened and been ended. They knew something in the future. I feel like this did involve time travel, that this somehow in the future was going to be affected way worse if it would have been allowed to continue. So that's interesting. So let's go to some of these questions. Did Tartaria exist? Yes, and I think there's ample evidence of that. And if you guys want to see these videos that I saw, then go to my channel on Telegram and check those out. Were the buildings free energy generators for the ethers? From the ethers? Were the buildings free energy generators from the ethers? Yes. Wait, there's more. And the people, the buildings, everything fed off of each other. Hence the harmony, they said. So, I always refer to this. I don't know what those paintings are called, but when you look at a painting, those ones where everything's all pixelated and you can't really tell what you're looking at. It's just a bunch of rainbow color little dots all over the place. And it's not until you kind of pull back and refocus your eyes till you could see like there's a castle in it or something. If somebody could give me the name of what those are called, those things were cool. But there's like a hidden picture in it, right? And I've also explained to you guys that there was a time when I did a drug one time, and it was clear, and it was a circle. It was like like the size of an eraser head almost. And I put it under my tongue, and the guy that I did it with said, "You're gonna feel like you're gonna die, but you're not gonna die. You're gonna actually see the truth of our world." And I did, and I felt like I was going to die. And I told him, I'm going to die. And he was like, then just die. And I was like, okay. And I did. And then all of a sudden, everything turned into one of those pictures. It was just like these rainbow color pixelated all over the place, and everything, the wind would blow and the trees would sway, but it was all these rainbow pixels. It was like one of those pictures had come to life. And then I understood that's how we're all one. We are really literally all one. All this that you see behind me and the air and everything, it's all one. So this makes sense that everything was free energy generating. And I feel I'm seeing Qigong. Like you cultivate Qigong, you become like a light bulb. You become a light bulb. The person becomes a light bulb from doing Qigong. And you can walk through walls because everything is energy. When you become a Qigong master and cultivate enough Qi, you can walk through walls and things. So these people who were energy generating back then, they could probably walk through walls and things because it was nothing but, they just said glorious. It was glorious. They could walk. Could they walk through walls? Yeah. They could walk through walls. So why the hell did they have, like, they had doorways that were like 20 feet tall, like for giants? Were there giants back then? Yes. Were there normal people like our size? No. They were all big. They were big people? Yeah. Wow. They're showing me, it looks like almost like 10 times our height. So, but there were pictures of people taken that didn't have children. Oh, toward the end, they said, like toward the end. Did these giants, did they like, what do they call it? I forget what they're called. So we're talking about giants. Yes. gentle giants. That's where they get the term gentle giants is from these guys. And there's papers. They're showing me papers that are archived papers about all of this that were hidden. They were buried. They were good people, really good people, but they were giants. So did they, I mean, what happened to them? Did they actually leave on their own accord? Did they leave? I'm getting some of them, yes, kind of saw it coming because they were also intuitive. That makes sense. Everything being energy would be very intuitive. So, because you are one with God, I mean, when you're energy, you are living God's will. Basically, you're God's puppet. So these were very godly people, very godly giant people, I guess. Did some of them not suspect and maybe were annihilated in this process? Yes. Was it mud floods or was it something that liquefied? Was it something that liquefied or mud floods? I'm actually getting neither. Was it a melting of, did something melt? I'm getting more of a melting. So was it like, okay, so I'm going to fill into this again. So is it melting? Did something melt? Or was it a mud flood? Or was it, what else could it be? Was it a liquefaction of something? No, I feel like it was the first. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So it was a utopia. It was just like they were thinking, okay. Was everything connected through natural energy grids on the earth? Yes. And they were all about sacred geometry. They were happy. Sacred geometry, they would sing. They would hum and sing all the time. Huh. Then they would jump up on things. I'm seeing them jumping up on things like monkeys do with vines. I don't know where I'm getting that. Where did the architecture come from? Because it was so extravagant. It was way beyond what was possible in those days. Who created the architecture? Was it the giants that created them? Giants that were connected. It was channeled. The giants created it using channeled information, as they were very psychic. And they got the information, they would write it down, and then they would get the idea and they would go build it. And they were tall enough to do it. Well, who the heck did all the extravagant, like the little things that were too small for their hands or whatever? Did they have smaller people that they were working with? No, there weren't really smaller people. They're showing me like they were like with some of it. So they were getting some kind of a higher knowledge that was channeled. Were they talking to extraterrestrials? Yes. Galactics. And I just got maybe Sirius, Arcturus. So Sirius and Arcturus, Pleiadians too. What was the purpose of this? Why to give an ideal, even actually for this time, to help get back to it for the new earth to come? It has some kind of a vision for our future. Did the giants know that they were building something that was like a vision for our future? Actually, yes. But they thought they would live forever. They thought that they were building the new earth. Kind of thing. So they thought they'd live forever. Some of them had an inkling it wasn't going to last forever. Did they dread it? Yeah, a little bit. So they did know that their time would come to an end somehow. And it kind of looked like it was like from maybe 1790 to 1830 or something. So it might have been like 40 years that this existed. Where did the red come from in the buildings? Red rocks. Where did the red rocks come from? It was like iron or something, whatever minerals are red. Just like Arizona has a lot of red. Is it like that? Yeah. It's not blood or something gross. No. I wondered. I was like, I don't know if I want to go there. So, okay. So we have these gentle, sweet giants that knew that their time would come to an end. They knew they wouldn't live forever necessarily, but they did think they were creating something. They knew that they were creating something for the future. They were giving us an idea to go with now to start creating the new Earth similarly. Holy cow. So this was like, what the heck? Where did they come here from? Did they just were they just put here? Were they placed here? Did they already exist before they came here, kind of thing? Yeah. Ships. You're telling me ships landed and deposited these people, these giants. I'm getting a yes. Like UFOs or ships. Oh, some of them. Let's see. Did some of them come from underground? No. Did some of them go into the underground? Yes, to hide. Some of them still exist. Some of them still exist in the earth. And they just cheered that they're being acknowledged. Holy mother of pearl. All right. All right. You guys got to send me some images and help me understand what happened. It said, then we knew it would be temporary. We were giving you a vision. What? Oh. So, that's why you did the world fairs. Because I was like, why did you guys put on these extravagant world fairs? They were trying to give people the inspiration of what was possible in the future. So then what melted? What the hell melted? What melted that covered everything? Did mountains melt? Was it like volcanic or something? Was it mountains? Volcanic. I'm getting a yes on both. Something that was natural, right? Something natural. Did what made it melt though? I'm actually seeing, this is just so crazy, you guys. I'm seeing like a light shining down from a UFO, like focused on a certain area and making it melt and come down. Why would they want to bury it at that point? Because the Lucys didn't want us to have a world like that. They wanted us to go back to horse and buggy. They wanted us to remain at horse and buggy. They wanted to have control and to make money off of us and make us slaves and tell us to, earn an income for them and all the stuff that we got trapped into. Are they still continuing today to cover this up? Yeah. So it was a galactic experience. It was like extraterrestrials sent these giants down here to do the work of all of this, to inspire us for the future that we're coming into today. I get a yes. What the hell? That's crazy. So did they exist for like 30 or 40 years? More than that? How many years did you say? 60? About 60 years they were here? Thank you guys for coming. Oh, they just went, oh, they're so sweet. I love them. So, okay, this doesn't explain though, why were there human beings, humans walking around without children? Taken away. The children were taken away. What was done to the children that were taken away? Oh, my stomach hurts. It was heart-wrenching. And then I see one of those devices on Men in Black when they would erase your memory. Stunned. People were stunned by their children being taken from them. What did they do with the children? I see them kind of put in, it's like they're being reproduced or something, like cloned. Or they're like being put in like pods or something, like being put in pod. It reminds me of the Matrix. Totally. Is it like the Matrix? They were giving us a hint and a clue in the Matrix about that. Children were gathered up. Why children? Because they were programmable. They wouldn't even know. Okay. And they could erase their memories. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this leads into like the question that there were some of the world fairs, apparently, like people, these adults were walking around. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling sick. These would, I'm almost feeling like throwing up. There were these children, or there were these fairs, and when they were just, in awe of all the light. What were the humans were a repopulation? So okay, so was the UFO thing all planned? Yeah. So it was you guys knew it was you. Okay. Were any of you saved? Yes. The ones that went into the earth. Okay. Were any of you like forewarned by the UFOs that melted everything that you'd be having to go down? Yeah, go down into the earth. The ones that actually died from this though, like did they die because they just weren't paying attention or listening to taking heed? Well, they just kept doing their job. They just kept wanting to, they were coming from the heart and they just wanted to keep doing what they were doing. They like, people like it, the old people like I was going to say Italy, but some people like they're just so set in their ways, they're just going to keep doing what they do. That's all. So it wasn't a bad thing. No, they did it for good. Wow. So then what the shit? How did they bring the humans back? And where did the humans even come from? Like the adults, because there were people back in 1700s, right? Okay, so did they gather up all the people from the 1700s and like redeposit them in the future or something? Some of them, yes. And then were there some new ones? There were new hybrid people too. People, this is so crazy. Is this tripping you guys out like it is me? There were like hybrid people? Are you saying there were hybrid people that were planted down with the people that were here in the 1700s? Weren't the people in the 1700s that were very basic, they said. They're like, no, don't even go there. They were not hybrids. We wanted to keep some of the pure humanness. We didn't want to make everybody into hybrids. Okay. So then these hybrid people, after this is all planned, feels like it was all planned. But although we saw some kind of a mistake that had some kind of a cover up, right? In those original cards. So, okay, so then we have people being redeposited after everything was said and done. And then they reunite the people who bought these infants. The people would literally like look at the children and they would be like, I don't know if they were in cages or what, but they would be like, hey, buy a child. And they were like, well, what the hell is that? What do I do with that? They have pictures or maybe even video. No, I wouldn't guess not videos, but pictures of them kind of looking like, what is this thing? How weird, but they would buy it and take it home and take care of it. Oh my gosh. And they said, and humanity began again. And it began again. So it was some sort of a reset. Yeah, planned reset. Okay, so what was the misunderstanding? What was the misunderstanding? Oh my gosh. Again, I'm feeling nauseous when I'm thinking about like, how did the people in the 1700s, people in the 1700s, like before this happened, what happened to all the people, all the humans on the planet? I just got no. What do you mean no? Were they killed? Were the people in the 1700s killed? So that when these new people came in, I actually get a yes. Why would they be killed though? And I'm getting a bunch of tingling on my head. So the people were, how were the people killed? Were they taken? The people were taken. Oh, so we're back to that again. So the people were taken somehow. They were taken somewhere. Their memories was wiped out. The children were taken away, and then they were like redeposited for repopulation, like 60 years later. This is weird. So the misunderstanding. What was the misunderstanding? Something about like, what was the misunderstanding? Was there any type of was there a misunderstanding? Not like I'm thinking mixed up information perhaps. Oh, okay. So what happened? Okay, so then they went and destroyed all of this. So the bad guys came in and destroyed it, right? The Lucy's came in and destroyed it so they could start taking people as slaves and stuff like that again. Oh, another reason. Okay. So who was responsible for the kids and the adults being taken away? Like who was, because you said that it was for good reasons to like inspire us in the future. Were you good? Was it done in a caring, loving way that these people and the children were taken away and some of them even executed? Yes. To have a do-over, to have a start over, to give us a chance. So in one hand, we have beings that were really trying to look out for us and trying to, looks like trying to give us a positive vision for the future and whatnot, because they knew this day would come eventually. Stomach again. And then, I mean, there's so much regret. They're saying they're full of regret about this, about how it all went down. Did you guys knew that when you put the people back down with the babies and stuff, did you guys know that would be that the dark people, that the Lucy's would come in and try to mess it up? Yeah, of course they knew. So they wanted to give them a fighting chance. That's why some of them became like hybrid and stuff, so they'd be extra intelligent. Apparently that didn't work. They're laughing. I don't even know where to go with this. So you're saying that like mountains were melted? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to see if there are any questions that I did not answer. Orphan trains, repopulation. Yeah. Where did the children come from? That they were taken? Yeah, these were like, some of them were hybrid children. Were any of these children from the people from the 1700s? Yeah. It's like they were clones. They would take the original and make clones off of them. So both the originals came back and the clones, they all came back to repopulate. Yeah. And then you guys inspired also cloning centers. Okay. Why did we need clones? You guys inspired the good beings inspired clone making. They gave us the information, but the information went into bad hands, is what that looks like. It's like they learned, the bad people learned about the cloning and then they used it for their own nefarious reasons. Okay, were the Iwaranon videos made to disclose all of this by the White Hats? Yes. Did the Rockefellers change the frequency of our music from 432 hertz to 440 hertz so as to harm us? Yes. For some reason, I'm feeling like pulling a world truth card on that. Look for hidden meanings in signs, symbols, and imagery. This will tell you all you need to know. That's interesting. And that's very true. It's like those of us who are waking up are like looking at everything now. Like, is that the right word that I just used? Because I don't know if that's the meaning of what that word actually means. And Jordan will teach you all about that if you look at his information. He was a big word guy. This also brings up the question, did Tesla find this old world tech rather than creating it, as in it already existed? Okay. Or I wonder if Tesla even existed, because they don't have or hardly have any information on the guy. Was Tesla a real person that existed? Actually, yes, they said. Okay. He was a hermit. They said he was a hermit. Did he find this information? Yes, he did. In a tunnel. He found the information in a tunnel, and then he tried to recreate it, and he saw that it worked. And he's like, oh my God, I hit the gold mine. That's why gold's been coming up. For some of you, because he saw a money-making idea, and he didn't necessarily, did he? Oh, they squashed it. They found out that he found out, and they squashed it. The bad guys knew all along that there was like buried treasure, that there was like buried information, and they, were trying to see if it popped up anywhere, kind of thing. Edison too. Yeah, all these guys, like all the inventors that popped up. So then why did they allow them credit? Why did they give them credit in history as being inventor? Why did they make them out to be the they've made them out to be okay. So because some of the information had gotten out about electricity and all that kind of stuff, and because it was the person that had found it was explaining it, were these guys honest about where they came up with the information? Edison, yes, Edison. Was Tesla honest about where he got the information? Not so much, but Edison was, I guess. But I think they told him, did they try to quiet him? They tried to tell him to play it off like it is him that invented it. Yeah. And Tesla too. Yeah. Okay. So did Tesla even, they were both discouraged that their ideas weren't completely and totally like what they were today. And what they are today is nothing. It's nothing. They'd still be discouraged today if they saw into the future. They'd be like, that's all they did with that? Seriously? Okay. So it's like they couldn't cover up certain information because they must have reached enough people knew about it that they couldn't put it under wraps. So then they made them into the inventors. This is so crazy. Now, again, this is just what I'm sensing, guys. This is just the stuff I'm getting. So, and I'm very much in my heart space right now, which is probably why Jordan came in the beginning. It's because I loved him so much. I dropped into my heart space for this talk. You know what I mean? Okay, so okay. This also brings up the question. Okay, no, I already did that one. Is the way time travel disclosed? Is the way time travel works disclosed in the film Deja Vu from through Project Snow White? And so what they described in the movie Deja Vu, is that correct as to how time travel works? No. And I don't know if I've seen the movie. If I have seen the movie, I totally forgot what it talks about. So I don't know. So how does time travel work? How does time travel work? Kind of like the idea with the walking through walls. In combination with water, I see liquid and I see people walking through like a portal. But it looks a plasma. Looks like a plasma. Plasma, water, liquid, all of that. Even the liquids that the babies were drinking or like incubated in, it wasn't the same as what's in a uterus when a woman has a baby. It's like other, it's like, remember how I said all of our liquids were vessels and all the different liquids like tears and all that are, it's almost like the babies that were incubating had all those different liquids that they were being nourished with. So it must have been hijacked by the bad guys, yes. And that's why they continue to put it in our food and everything now. What does it do? I mean, why does putting all this garbage in our food, like aborted babies and stuff? Why is that being put in our food and everything to weaken us? Kind of like incest weakens doesn't it weaken the species or something? Kind of like the same idea when we're eating ourselves, we're weakening. Why were they trying to destroy us? They didn't want this new earth to happen again. They didn't want this vision to come true because they would be annihilated. It'd be too much goodness. It was too good. Wow. Okay. And they would be destroyed. Yeah. It was us or them. Okay. Wow. So we actually got through it all. My mind is boggled. I don't even know how much time it's been. I'm going to pull some questions. What am I thankful for today? So I think that I was just thinking today earlier, like one of the keys to manifestation is gratitude. Being thankful for whatever you can possibly think to be thankful for. It's like, don't be too rattled by all of this stuff. I was telling a friend, I think yesterday, that there were a few years ago, if you would have told me all this stuff that I know now, or even listening to what Jordan and I were talking about in the podcasts, I had no clue what he was talking about. Now I get what he was talking about. So a couple years after the talk, now it makes sense what he was saying, but at the time it wasn't. But anyway, just be thankful. Just you're manifesting right now. You're manifesting our freedom. Okay. So just be grateful and set your intentions on getting back to that utopia. They gave us that vision for a reason, to inspire us to this new earth, what's possible. Are those documents going to be revealed? Yes. Do the white hats have them in their possession? Yes. Are they going to help us are there some humanitarian projects that are going to be, I'm getting chills everywhere. Humanitarian projects that are going to be given this information with these papers from way back when that they gave us. Yes. Yay. Yay. We're going to bring Tartaria back. We're bringing Tartaria back. Oh my gosh, I have chills everywhere. This is amazing. And our gratitude is going to bring it in. Oh my gosh, those guys are so happy right now. I can feel them. The giants are like, so they're crying. Some of them are crying. So, okay. So, they said you can only create what we had then by tapping into your heart and staying grateful, being thankful. So stay out of fear right now and know that this is what we're coming into, and this is what we're going to be recreating, and they're going to help. Crop circles were reminders of Tartaria. They were pointing back to Tartaria, giving us clues. Go look for the hidden knowledge. Go look for the hidden knowledge. Because you can't deny a miracle like that. Oh my gosh, they're crying and hugging, and they're so happy that this information is getting out. Oh, so is this a certain thing coming in our future? Yes. Rebuilding. Are you guys going to come back out? Yes. Oh, you're afraid that they're afraid that they're going to get judged, like, because giants have had a bad reputation through time. So they're a little afraid of us judging them. But when we create Tartaria and everybody's in their heart space, and they're really, they've built this incredible thing, and they're really coming from the 5D. When we're all in the 5D, the giants will come back. Yes. To help. They said to help, though. They don't want to come take over or anything. It's like everybody will be working together. The animals, the trees, everybody and everything is going to be one again. Big bird, really big giant birds as well. There are giant birds that are going to come back. Is there what's a pterodactyl? Pterodactyl, does it have teeth? Like, is it going to, are those coming back and they have teeth? Yeah, but they don't hurt you. Many of the animals, many of the dinosaurs, this is getting crazy. Many of the dinosaurs were not vicious like they say. Am I right? How about T-Rexes? Were they vicious? Not like they portray. Not like they portray. They were skilled hunters, yes. But they weren't violent. They weren't running around after people. Okay. Oh. Another question. What kinds of good and beautiful things am I experiencing in this moment? Look for that, because that's what we'll be cultivating. What you put your attention on, you're creating more of. So just keep putting your attention on peace and love. So should I do an amulet or should I do a rebel amulet? Okay. I'm going to do an amulet to the goddess to end. And then obviously I'm going to have to do a blessing too, because this is craziness. They just said thank you so much. You're welcome. I think this is called the sprouting seed or something. Oh, is it? Thanks for the validation, honey. Okay, so sprouting seed or something. Where are you in here? The sprouting seed. I actually got it right. 160. I went right to it. New beginnings. Oh, new beginnings. She's meowing too. You sweet baby girl. Hang on, maybe she wants to come in. Okay, so she may or may not come up here, but she came in. Hi, sweetie. That's Annie. Okay, when you receive the sprouting seed amulet, a tender and vulnerable situation may be at hand. It signals the beginning of something new. You've already planted your seeds and taken conscious care to give them a healthy environment. They are growing beautifully, unfolding with the love you have provided. During this stage of growth, balance is the best care. Concentrate on rootedness. Establish your foundations so that whatever you build upon them becomes a strong and steady home in which to dwell. At this time, this is like recreating Tartaria. At this time, review your goals and expectations regarding the outcome of your wishes. Toss out what isn't relevant anymore. It's important to make revisions along the way. You can't tug at your plants to make them grow. Come on. When you can trust the mystery that underlies patience and persistence, a strong and healthy outcome is certainly in store. Okay, so when you receive the sprouting seed amulet, it's time to affirm your commitment to a growth process that you began a while ago. Call together a few of your closest friends, especially those who are aware of current issues in your life. Ask them to bring a passage to read that honors your personal growth process. It can be something that they wrote. Use it goes into like a ceremonial type of thing, which I don't necessarily want to get into on here, but okay, so just do some reflection on that. And we're recreating Tartaria. Set that intention. Tap into these wonderful, beautiful giants, and ask them to help. Do a Divine Guidance Council meeting, which you can find here on YouTube. Just put in my name and just put in Divine Guidance Council. It should come up if you put in Amy Satori Guidance Council, and just learn how to do a Divine Guidance Council meeting. Tap into these beautiful people. I think, is it Nephilim? Is it Nephilim? Are you guys the Nephilim? It could be the Nephilim or something like that. It starts with an N. Anyway. Yeah, they're happy to be acknowledged that way too. They're so sweet. Okay. Oh, fairies too. They said fairies are coming back. They said little people too, like people who are littler than you guys and people who are much bigger than you guys. Like there's going to be a plethora of different beings that feel like they more secure to come out in this new earth. I lost my train of thought. So got it. Oh yeah, tap in. Thank you. Tap into these people. Tell me in the comments below anything that you get from having conversations with these guys. Be praying and manifesting for this paperwork that we're supposed to see that's going to help us to build these new communities that are going to be incredible. Is it going to spread all over the world like it did before? Yeah. Will some of the buildings that have already been destroyed and covered up, are they going to be actually used? Yes, and repurposed. How beautiful. How beautiful. They're like so relieved and so happy. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna end with a blessing. My brain is fried. Like I can't even believe I'm just blown away right now. So this is so interesting. Shanti, thank you for putting this together. She's helping behind the scenes. She has a Telegram channel, Intuitive News, and she's the one that puts these questions together. And she looks at your questions in the world questions chat that I have on Telegram. So thank you for doing that. And all right. So many truths to be revealed, guys. But we are the open-minded, open-hearted ones that are receiving this information. And, you know, people are dying from a lack of knowledge. So we need to spread this knowledge as much as possible. And maybe it takes a neutral subject like this. Like, even though it's mind-boggling, it still gets people thinking, you know, like, well, maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe it'll start opening some minds of some of these people who are just like stuck, brainwashed with, you know, all of this. Okay, so everybody just relax, drop your shoulders. I want you guys to all envision Tartaria right now. Let's just amplify that beautiful, incredible, harmonious energy. And all of us living in harmony together and just recreating this utopia. So, all right. Hamana tainsa seche la hakena. Hike impokan ke echan. Tetele pipe mhama anatai. Halat sense shiki ina ai. Halaka ipim pampa anatai. Since laki in tapupuma on. Haila. Hain shashishena. Hela amopoma maan. Taike. Haila amaan. Chinche laki ins. Okay, so they just encouraged me to pull some of my spirit cards as well. You should take more time to quiet your mind and tune into the subtle realm. We have your back. Your mind does not. Remember, your mind, your ego is negative artificial intelligence. You want to come up here, honey? You may need to remove that toxic person, group, or situation from your life if you want things to change. We know who that is, and they are being removed. Your mind may be put at ease if you could just do some more research on this. Wow. Wow. Okay, so I don't want to pull too many cards here. As I say, and one more thing. You are lovable and you're worthy of this new earth and these new times to come, you guys. Love who you are as you're created perfectly. Everything about your true self is beautiful. So don't be ashamed that we might be cloned or that we might have come from this really weird history or any of that. Don't let that get to you. You are worthy of love. You are lovable. The love these beings even have for you, I feel, is undying. You have a connection to these beautiful giants that is undeniable. Oh, and they just said, if you knew how much we love you and if you knew how much we will do all that we can to protect you, even energetically going through this process, you wouldn't worry. You would be so excited and elated about what's to come. So keep in that energy and just rise above all of what you're seeing, hearing, the whole song and dance, the whole mirage, the whole illusion. Just rise above it and keep your consciousness high and try to be as present in the moment as you possibly can every moment of every day. I love you guys so much. Send you a big hug and can't wait to read your comments about this. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.